A digital marketing platform is a platform which allows a marketer to reach the right person at the right time. There's a saying that the difference between theory and practice is much smaller in theory than in practice. And part of the issue here, when you try and get 3 or 4 or 10 systems to combine together into one cohesive one, is that getting these pieces to work together effectively is the big challenge. So, for example, a lot of times, many people have played this game of telephone, where what they'll do is they'll have a message, whisper it into somebody's ear, and then they whisper it to another person's ear, and so forth. Imagine a game of telephone with these technology platform parts and technology platform companies, where a marketer is telling its agency one thing, the agency is telling one of the partners one thing, and somehow all of that information has to go through the chain of partners, and in a closed-loop system, which would be ideal, that data is flowing back the other way. You can imagine what would happen if you didn't have a cohesive system in place. If you instead had a bunch of different essential solutions and partners, each with their own interests, each with their own technology and their own sets of APIs, what you'd wind up with is more likely a mess than anything efficient. I think one of the key values of an integrated system is the ability to close the loop. And what I mean by closing the loop is not only, or let's say once you've defined who the ideal person is that you want to reach, and once you've defined how you want to go and reach them, and you've reached them, you still need to now see what was the result of that interaction. And I think that's where a lot of these kind of point solutions fall apart, is because you have one entity which basically says, I'll help you define who you want to reach. And then I take this definition and I give it to another entity which says, I'll help you figure out how to reach them. And they do so. But you don't have that feedback now to say, here's what happened, and this is how it shapes who you should be reaching in the first place. If I were a salesman working or a salesperson working in a store, and I insisted on saying the same thing to everybody that walks in the door, without the ability to modify my message, or the ability to say, I want to approach people differently, or I want to learn from my interactions and figure out who I should be reaching and how I should be reaching them, I would not be an effective salesperson. And so what you need to do is to have that kind of feedback loop, that experience that continually goes and helps shape essentially how you approach each stage of the problem.